The InFocus M810 has a stunning design and very high build quality. It screams style and luxury, but it doesn't only look good, it also has some very powerful hardware and features inside like NFC, Full HD display, Gorilla Glass 3, Android 5 Lollopop, 4G LTE, and it is all powered by the Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.5 GHz. I'm s7yler and this is my review of the InFocus M810 from efox-shop.com. InFocus are mainly known for their quality projectors, but lately InFocus has also released many interesting smartphones from China, and the M810 is no exception. With the double-sided glass, full metal frame and extremely thin design, it really stands apart from the crowd of cheap China phones. And quite extraordinary, the M810 also has a front speaker and built-in NFC, something even the latest OnePlus 2 doesn't have. Some shops sell this phone as the M810T, while others just call it M810 without the T in the end. But the phones are the same. Actually, my firmware showed the T in the end, but the phone on the shop is only called M810. And here a quick unboxing. So we see the box, we have the phone here, and there's some plastic with some informations. And we have the micro USB cable, we have a standard wall charger, this is 5 volt 1 amp. There's a power plug adapter, and there's a small pin and a sticker with the IMEI numbers. And here on the back side you see the specifications. So I will of course also list these in the video description. Let's have a look at the phone design. So on the top we find the light and proximity sensor, the ear speaker together with a 5 megapixel front camera. The phone has a 5.5 inch Full HD display, and I must say that this display is amazing. It's sharp with good brightness and very vivid colors. In the bottom we find the menu, home and back buttons, which all are illuminated. On the back side, which is non-removable and made of glass, we have a 30 megapixel rear camera with good quality, together with a very strong dual LED flash. Inside the phone we will also find a 2600 mAh battery that gives close to 7 hours on screen time and fine for about 1 day with normal usage. And last we also see the InFocus branding, the NFC logo and a 4G logo. In the bottom of the phone we find the micro USB port that has support for USB on the go, the microphone and a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side we find 2 trays, one for a micro SIM and one for a TF card. So be aware that this phone isn't dual SIM. Notice also that the frame is of real metal and makes the phone feel really premium. In the top we just find a noise cancelling microphone. And last on the left side we find a round power button together with the volume rocker, which at first sight looks a bit special, but actually it works really good. And here you can see a close-up of the 2 trays, one for micro SIM and one for TF card. Now let's have a look at the phone. Let me turn it on. So we see the lock screen, and with these shortcuts you can open up some apps directly. Let's try the browser. So this is working great, and you can of course also change these shortcuts to other apps inside the settings. Here we have the stock launcher, the UI. And you also see here the icons are not exactly stock, but they have a different look. Let's just try to scroll a little bit here in the UI so you can see the speed. It's very smooth, and the phone right now is using the Lollopop ROM, so it works pretty fast and smooth and there are no hiccups or lag. And you also see the hardware touch buttons, capacitive touch buttons with backlight. These are not just on-screen buttons, but actually hardware buttons with backlight. So that's a pretty good thing. and the light is also clear and bright. So you will not find any kind of double tap to wake or off screen or air gestures, but the phone does support some motion features. I will show and talk about these later. But first let's have a look at the toggles. You can slide to the side, but you can also slide down to see them all. So you also notice we have power saving, we have audio effects, NFC. Let's click here. So here you can drag the icons and rearrange them. Let's try out the vibration tester. So you can hear it. It's pretty loud. Does feel a little bit cheap. I think it could be a little bit more hard and maybe 10% better, but okay. And now let's check out the viewing angles. Let me just tilt the display so you can see how the colors and the sharpness is still pretty good. Let's try from this side. Also very nice. The display is very vibrant and the brightness is very good. IPS. So overall, really good viewing angles on this display. No problems at all. So regarding the Wi-Fi and the network, these are pretty good. No issues at all. Wi-Fi is fast and stable, and the same with the network. And you can see the signal here. But I will also show a speed test and a Wi-Fi analyzer test later in the video. And let's now try out a test call. So let's try out the proximity sensor.
The number you've dialed is not assigned.
And in fact, there are some buttons you can see here, hardly in white, but with a white background like this, these are really hard to see. I think they should have made some kind of shadows on these, because white icons on a white background, then you can't see them, and that's not smart made. And let me try out the Earspeaker here so you can hear the sound quality and volume.
The number you have dialed is not assigned. Die gewählte Nummer ist nicht vergeben. The number you have dialed is not assigned.
Okay, so that was the sound from the Earspeaker. Clear and loud. So the only problem I had with the phone actually was with the microphone, because the microphone in this case is not the loudest, and people in the other end sometimes told me that my voice was a bit low. But they could still hear me and understand me fine, but just be aware that the microphone here will not be the loudest. And let me also show you some of the apps inside the folders. So these are stock apps in the ROM, in the Lollopop ROM. We have here Google apps, we have InFocus apps, we have some tools, and we have recommended. Let's see inside NFC. Checking NFC, and you can see you can enable it for camera, recorder, gallery, video file, and so on. And let's try to send this picture. Waiting for NFC touching. And here I have another phone with NFC. Let's put it up to the back. See at the top, so we see receiving of Android Beam. Yep, let's see the gallery, and you can see I sent this picture from the InFocus. Let's get back. Gallery. So you can see the picture here in the corner. That picture was sent from this phone over NFC to the LG. And let's try to click one time here. We see some settings. Let's hold the home for Google search. Double tap to see the overview, multitasking overview. We have task manager and clear all. You can also swipe up to have the same settings. You can pinch to zoom to see the desktops. Swipe down for notifications. Swipe up and we can see task manager, add, widget, folder, wallpaper, effects. Widgets. So here we see the widgets. We have preferences, desktop page effects, slide down action, pinch to edit. We have screen cycle, scroll, wallpaper mode, layer mode setting. So one layer means no app drawer. Let's try to change this to 2 layer. Okay, so actually we find the app drawer here now. So it's a pretty nice thing. You can choose if you want an app drawer or not. And let's have a look inside the camera app. Let's see in settings. So we have scene mode, auto white balance, eZoom auto, megapixels. Also see here for video quality in full HD, so no 4K. 13 megapixels in 4:3 or 10 megapixels in widescreen. Quality, auto tracking, video high frame rate on or off. This could actually be some kind of slow motion feature. Let's see what we else have here. Flicker reduction, data storage, where to save, about the camera. Okay. You can adjust the image, white balance, effects, scene mode, so on. Let's also see here for the mode, different modes to choose from. Panorama, motion photo, dynamic lighting, watermark, object array. So if you have a person walking in the background and you do the picture, you can remove this person, for example. HDR, blink detection, so on. Beauty shot, and we can see the icons are also rotating. Let's just check out the autofocus. So the autofocus is working fast and nice, as you notice. Okay. And for some camera samples in full resolution, as always, I will provide a link below in the video description where you can find some high resolution samples. So don't forget to check these out. And now let's check out the torch, the LED flashlight, and the LED flash on the back is really strong. It's the dual LED, and you can see very nice light, very bright. Definitely good dual LEDs, and it also has a very good color tone. And regarding sound via the headphone jack, sound quality is really good. It's very loud, good quality, good bass, and there's also the built-in equalizer for the sound, audio effects. So there's a lot of possibilities to tweak the sound, and you can click here on the sun and we see the weather, a lot of informations and the days. You can add more cities. And let me also show you here inside the InFocus app, we have something called the Power Detective app. So with this app here, you can actually monitor the power. You can see the temperature of the CPU or the battery. So 85% is left of the battery right now. You can see if there's a battery drain. Show temperature for the CPU or the battery. Lock interval, you can clear the lock. And you can also be reminded if there's some apps using a lot of power. Also we find mobile assistant. So this should also help you to optimize the system. And now to the settings. Let's see in the phone settings. First of all, we have all normal settings like VLAN, Bluetooth. We have the network, airplane mode and so on. Let's see in apps. And we see about 813 megabyte of RAM free. Totally the phone has 2 GB RAM. Preferred install location. So you can change this or let the system decide. Let's try the show cast. Now we are down on 623 megabyte. In home, we also can enable the easy launcher. Let's just try this. So this is for old people, I would say, or people who not are used to use a smartphone. Very big icons, a big dialer. Then we have display. We have brightness level, blue light filter. Okay, so let's see, enable this. And you can see the color tone is more like warm. It removes the blue in the display. Like a filter, let me just disable this again. We have home screen wallpaper and lock screen wallpaper. Font size, let's just see normal. We have here sleep and daydream, LED notification, LED inactivity. You see the color temperature and screen mode, standard or dynamic. Okay, so that's pretty nice. You can tweak the colors and the display. Sound, we have here a pocket mode, increase volume in pocket. Battery, show it in percentage, power saving mode. You can enable this for the CPU, the screen, data, so on. Then we find the storage, and the storage totally is on 16 GB, available 7.51 GB right now. Of course, I also installed a lot of test apps. And we also see it support SD card and also USB on the go. Motion. So here we have different motion features, settings to enable or disable. We find support for software update. Language and input. So here I noticed that we only find about 10 languages. But you can enable more with the app called More Local 2. And we find about phone and accessibility and more. You can calibrate the G sensor. Let's see in about. You see the build number. Camera version, Android version 5.0.2, processor info. Let's check here the Android. Lollopop. So that's it for the settings. Now I'm going to run some different test apps and a game. I will turn up for the background music, so let's check it out. as always, now to my pros and cons. So first to the pros. The M810 has a very sleek design and very good build quality. The materials are a mix of glass, metal and very little plastic, and it feels very premium in the hand. It is very nice to see that InFocus have added built-in NFC, something not all phones today offer, but many users still actually want. The phone also has a front speaker with good quality, something that is really nice because the sound then seems louder and more clear as if it was placed on the rear side. It has tons of built-in sensors. In fact, CPU-X reported 24 different sensors, so that's really incredible. The phone scores pretty good in AnTuTu and games run very nice, even though it also then got pretty hot, but never so hot that it would give any real problems. And last, it's nice to see that it also offers a real notification LED and capacitive touch buttons with backlight. That's also something that is rarely seen on a phone in this price class. To the list of cons are that the GPS is unfortunately not the fastest or strongest seen. It seems to be very sensitive to the weather conditions, but when I did get a lock, it was down to about 5 meters with GLONASS support, and it kept the lock pretty stable at that point. Also, my phone only came with the KitKat ROM out of the box, and the KitKat ROM had a lot of bloatware and suspicious apps pre-installed. The phone was actually pre-rooted, so with Link2SD I could easily remove these. After that I then got 2 Lollopop updates wirelessly, where the first one actually failed on the device, but the second one then worked without any problems. But I did notice that in the Lollopop update it then only offers 10 different languages, but with the app More Local 2 you can enable more. The phone is also only running with 32-bit, not 64, even though it is running with Android 5.0 Lollopop. I also noticed that the microphone in the bottom was a bit low when I was talking with people, but suddenly very loud when I used the voice recorder app. The other end could hear me, but told me that my voice wasn't so loud, so it seems to be something with the software, and I really hope that InFocus are going to optimize and fix this. There's no double tap to wake or off-screen gestures, but it does offer motion features like turn over to reject a call, quiet volume on pickup and shake to change to the next track. And last, the battery could also be bigger, but still I was able to get through the day with one charged and about 7 hours on screen time, so it's also not that bad. Well guys, that's it for the review. Remember also to check out my blog. You'll find the link in the video description. If you have any questions, please comment below, give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.